So welcome everyone to our workshop, How to Sleep Deep. So please let us know in the chat, where are you from? Put your location in the chat. And if other, I think a couple of other people will still join, but I can just let them in. Let us know in the chat where you are located. From Venezuela, Dachi in Lisbon. Originally from Argentina, living in Lisbon, Barcelona, Seattle, half German, half Polish. I'm also German. Currently living in Barcelona. Very nice. Yes, so let's get started. So tonight's workshop is about how to sleep deep and is a fusion of Ayurveda and Western medicine. And so when I was in my 20s, I studied Chinese medicine, then later Ayurvedic medicine. And today I'm working as mainly as an Ayurvedic gut and hormone coach. So everything that is around women's health, that is regarding their gut, their hormones, their sleep, this is my specialization. And I was in the past suffering from an early age on from severe sleeping disorders. And it was already when I was a small kid. I really had severe problems to sleep. And then I became a teenager and a young adult, and I was just so used to not sleeping properly. And I mean, I think every one of you wouldn't have joined that workshop if you wouldn't have any problems with sleep. And you know how you can feel if you don't sleep properly for one night, for several nights, for weeks, for months. So for me, it was super chronic, and it was something that was always there. And I tried many different things, but nothing was really helping. And so, yeah, I began a journey I studied naturopathy, then Chinese medicine, then Ayurvedic medicine. I studied the nervous system because I wanted to find out how I can sleep. And this is why I'm super passionate about sleep and helping people, and very often it's women, to sleep properly. And what changed for me once I was sleeping was I was more focused. I was much less reactive. I had much less anxiety. And also because as we know, the sleep, the gut, the sleep, the hormones, everything is interconnected. Yeah, so these are not separate systems. So if you don't sleep properly, yeah, your stress level, your stress hormones, cortisol, is constantly elevated, and this depletes your energy. You feel low in energy. Yeah, you are more reactive. You might have more mood swings. You might have problems with your menstrual cycle, with fertility, yeah, or later on with menopause. So sleep, as we will talk about it in a moment, is really a very important pillar of health. And when I studied Ayurveda or Chinese medicine, I find these systems fascinating. However, I also always want to understand everything from a Western medicine perspective. And what Ayurveda is teaching is really proved by Western medicine. And we will explore that later, what this means for sleep. And I think it's super important and very interesting to join both of them, to merge them, because this will help you understand and also give you some proof that what Ayurveda is teaching for thousands of years has been even proven by Western science. So what I would like to know, and I would like you put the date on your paper, that you note down, why is sleeping better so important to you? What would change in your life if you could wake up feeling fully rested and energized every day? I want you to note that down. Just imagine you sleep through the night, you wake up in the morning. after 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep, of uninterrupted sleep, you felt easily asleep and you wake up, you feel energized, your head is clear. What would change in your everyday's life if you could finally sleep through the night? What would change for you? And share it in the chat. What would change for you if you have a consistently good sleep? And in tonight's workshop, I really want you to find out some of the reasons why you can't sleep properly. And in the end, I will also share, also during the session, but in the end, you will get a couple of tips, supplements, plant medicine, and we will talk a lot about lifestyle habits and routines as well that help you to sleep properly. So let me know in the chat, what would change for you if you could finally sleep through the night, every night, or nearly every night? And I'm sharing my screen in the meantime.
You want us to write here also why we don't sleep well?
No, I just would like to know what would change for you if you would have a consistently good sleep.
Yeah.
And in the very end of the session, I will switch off the recording and you can ask all your questions, okay? So that we have some privacy for that. And during the session, if any questions pop up, you can just write them in the chat. More energy, feel happier, more healthy. Better mood, better relationships. Yes, relationships. No, when we are less reactive, when we are more in our body, when we are more energized, we are also less irritable. Like I was super irritable always when I didn't sleep well. Yeah, less tired muscles, more balanced, more aligned. Could plan much better my routine, more patience, go and watch the sunrise more often. Yes, more grounding, better time management. Yes, so many things would change. And this is just like, it would also have an influence on your professional life. No, can also have a huge influence on how much money you earn, how efficient and productive you are in your work. No, it will have a lot of benefits for your health, for your relationships, but also for your work life. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. So every one of us, I think, was working today, or most of us had a working day. So just put your feet on the ground. Your hands can lie in your lap and just get comfortable. Your spine is nice and tall. Your eyes are closed. And just to take a couple of deep inhalations and sigh out. You're all muted. No one can hear you. Deep inhalation and breathe out with a sigh. Several times. And with every inhalation, you bring more oxygen into your body. Can visualize that you spread it into every corner of your body. And with every exhalation, let go of tension. Let go of any thoughts, any experiences you had today. What is now important that you are here, that you are present, and that you take the time now to find more about you and how you can nourish and take care of yourself in a better way by learning more about sleep and everything that is related to it. The last 2 deep inhalations and exhale with a sigh. And then slowly open your eyes. Still someone join? Just let the person know. Good. So let's talk about the pillars of health. So we have the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and the sexual aspects. And they are all interconnected. Yeah? All interconnected aspects of your well-being that work together so that we have a balanced and fulfilled life. So physical health forms the foundation. Yeah, it's involving movement, exercise, nutrition. Yeah, so your gut health, and also the right balance between activity and rest. And when your body feels strong and resilient, it supports, of course, every other aspect of your life. So the mental health is equally essential. So it shapes our thoughts, our emotions. Yeah, it's about managing stress effectively, staying calm in difficult situations, maintaining focus at work or at school or with your kids, yeah, in your relationships. So when we have a good mental health, it allows us to feel optimistic and handle life's up and downs. And when we have all up and downs in life, and I find when we sleep very good, it's much easier to handle them. So then we have the spiritual health, and that adds a deeper sense of purpose and connection. So whether through faith, yeah, when you meditate, when you spend time in nature, when you know, yeah, your purpose in life, your dharma, why are you here? Yeah, how can you make the most from this life? So to have a meaningful life. Then we have sexual health, and this is very often an overlooked pillar, but it's also very vital for overall happiness and connection. So it's about physical intimacy, yeah, but also to understand your body, to love your body, to respect boundaries, yeah, to foster healthy relationships. Yeah, it's feeling confident and safe in your body, in your sexuality, yeah, whether through open communication, yeah, with your partner or self-care exploration. And it enhances your sense of self-worth and closeness, yeah, with other people. So together, these 4 pillars, they affect, let's say, your whole life, your whole system. So the aim is that we maintain harmony among these aspects, yeah, so that we have a vibrant life. And when we look at sleep, sleep is a cornerstone of health. Yeah, so it's influencing nearly every system in your body. So without adequate sleep, our body cannot perform essential restorative processes that keep you functioning optimally. So when we sleep, yeah, our brain clears out toxins that accumulate throughout the day. It improves cognitive function and memory. Yeah, when we properly sleep, this means we have better problem-solving skills. We are quicker at decision making. We have the ability to stay focused on our daily tasks. Yeah, and when we have poor sleep, it disrupts these processes. Yeah, then we can feel foggy, we can feel forgetful, we can have menstrual cycle problems, so many different problems that can arise from that. And when we look at this, why does sleep really matter? I mean, have you ever tried to exercise after you have just slept 2 or 3 hours? It's difficult. Yeah, or when you work on a project and you have to concentrate on something after a poor night of sleep is super difficult. Yeah, it really influences also, for example, financial decisions. Sometimes when you don't sleep properly, some women, they will buy sweets, junk food, they will buy more coffee, they might buy stuff that they actually don't need, but it makes them feel better in that very moment. And also you will perform better at work when you sleep properly. So this can also mean maybe you're an entrepreneur, that you can have a higher income, but also if you perform better as an employee, it can also mean that you have a raise in your salary. Yeah, so it influences really every single aspect in your life. So what is very important to know is that the quality of our sleep, so how you sleep, is really a mirror reflecting the choices you make throughout the day. So if you rush through the day, in go mode and one thing after the other, and then in the evening you think, so now I'm meditating for half an hour and everything will be good, this is not working out. Yeah, so if your cortisol levels, your stress, your sympathetic nervous system is activated throughout the day, or you might have, for example, you don't eat the right diet, or you have, let's say, eating times, can also influence, for example, your insulin level. And there are so many different factors that influence your sleep. So if someone is not sleeping well, we need to find out why this person, what is the reason for their sleeping disorders? And it can have different reasons, and we are going to explore them today. Who has heard of the circadian rhythm? Just raise your hand. Who has heard of the circadian rhythm? Okay, so you know a little bit about it. Amazing. So the circadian rhythm is our body's natural internal clock, and it's guiding essential biological processes over a 24-hour cycle. So it's primarily influenced by external cues, especially by light and by darkness. And it governs your sleep-wake cycle, your metabolism, your hormone production, and even your mood. So in the morning, exposure to natural light signals our brain to suppress melatonin. This is the sleep-inducing hormone. We will talk about it more in a moment. And to release cortisol. So cortisol has a super bad reputation because it's known as the stress hormone. However, if you wouldn't have a rise in cortisol in the morning, you don't get out of bed. So people who had severe burnouts, they have very low cortisol levels. So they can have for months or for years elevated cortisol levels, but at one moment it crashes and they literally don't get out of bed anymore. I coached people with severe burnouts, they don't get out of bed anymore because the cortisol is so low. So in the morning, the cortisol helps you to wake up and to get out of bed and to start your day. So this rhythm encourages alertness and activity during daylight hours, while as evening approaches and the light decreases, your body starts producing melatonin, the sleep-inducing hormone, to prepare you for sleep. And the circadian rhythm has always been there. It also regulates your digestion and your energy usage. So for instance, if like your metabolism is most active during the day. So it's aligning with when you are naturally active and consuming food. And at night, these processes and your digestive enzymes slow down and decrease. And because the metabolism then wants to focus on repair and restoration, which is why eating late can disrupt digestion and can interfere with restful sleep. And this circadian rhythm and this clock that you see here, it's not just about sleep. No, it influences nearly every cell in your body, from your heart rate to your immune function. And disruptions like staying up late, exposure to blue light from screens in the late evening, inconsistent schedules, it really can throw off your circadian rhythm and then you are out of sync. Sleeping disorders always mean you are out of rhythm. And then we need to find out why you are out of rhythm. And I already mentioned cortisol and melatonin. And melatonin and cortisol, so you know the yin-yang symbol, I'm sure. Yeah, this is we study that in depth in Chinese medicine, but I think it's everyone knows the yin-yang symbol, white, black, with one, like in the black part, there is a white circle, and in the white part, there is a black circle. And yin and yang, yin is the feminine part, yang is the masculine part. And when we look at cortisol and melatonin in everything in our body, we have a yin and we have a yang part, and they need to have the right balance. And cortisol is like, it's active. It activates, you can do things, you can move forward. And this is the yang hormone. When we look at melatonin, this is the yin hormone. And it gives you rest, you go inward, you slow down. And cortisol and melatonin, they need to have the right ratio. If they don't have the right balance, then either your cortisol is elevated and your melatonin decreases, or your melatonin is elevated and your cortisol decreases. Yeah, so we can have both. And the melatonin cortisol dance is a natural interplay, yeah, between the two key hormones that regulate your sleep, wake cycle, yeah, and overall circadian rhythm. So these hormones work in harmony, and they ensure you stay energized during the day to get the stuff done and to do something, to interact, and to rest well at night. So cortisol is often called, let me just check if there is someone still coming in. No. So cortisol is called the stress hormone, but it's not just about stress. No, so it's your body's natural wake-up signal. So in the morning, as the sun rises, yeah, and light exposure also triggers your brain, yeah, to suppress melatonin, the sleep hormone, and to release more cortisol. And the surge in cortisol peaks around 8, 9 a.m. in the morning. So it's energizing you, it's preparing your body for the day. It's like your internal go signal, yeah, and it boosts your alertness, your metabolism, your focus. And in case you wake up in the morning and you feel drained and tired and you hardly get out of bed, it's very possible that your melatonin is still elevated. And I will explain later why that can happen. And melatonin, on the other hand, this is your body's rest signal. So as daylight fades, your brain begins producing melatonin. So it's signaling it's time to wind down. And melatonin levels rise sharply in the evening. Yeah, so it peaks around bedtime. Yeah, so the release starts between 8 and 9 p.m. And this sets the stage for deep restorative sleep, yeah, during which cortisol levels naturally dip to their lowest. And the balance between these two hormones is delicate, yeah, and it's essential. So cortisol levels gradually decrease throughout the day, while melatonin production rises in the evening. So we have again the yin and the yang, the activity during the day and the rest during the night. And this dance keeps your energy, yeah, and rest cycles synchronized. However, disruptions, for example, too much screen time before bed, yeah, because blue light blocks melatonin release. Chronic stress. So and chronic stress doesn't just mean that you do one thing after the other during the day. This can be also chronic emotional stress, chronic mental stress. Yeah, I see this sometimes when people are in relationships that don't go well. They can really experience severe sleeping disorders because it produces really so much stress, whereas their daily lifestyle is not stressful. Yeah? But emotionally or mentally, there is a lot going on and it's really stressing them out. Yeah, also irregular sleep schedules. So just to take the examples, The example, what I see very often, people still hang around in front of their mobile phone or laptop or TV in the evening. And so you are exposed to blue light. It will decrease or even inhibit the melatonin release. And what happens is, let's say you are at 11 p.m., you're still in front of your screen and cortisol is still high. Then you go to bed, maybe you fall asleep, maybe it will take you a long time to fall asleep. But eventually you fall asleep. And then hopefully you sleep through the night. But when cortisol in the evening is quite high, you can have frequent wake-ups during the night. But what happens is, so cortisol is still high when you go to bed, whereas melatonin should be already higher than cortisol. And then cortisol slowly decreases during the night and melatonin starts to increase. This is sometimes when people then have this proper sleep at 5 a.m. in the morning, when finally the cortisol has decreased and melatonin increases. But that shouldn't be the case. So it should be the other way around. But that happens when you stay up too late, when you expose yourself to screens, when you have late dinners, all of this can happen. And then in the morning, when you need to get out of bed and you want to be active, then melatonin, that should be low and cortisol should rise. So it's the other way around. So you wake up, you feel not rested, you feel tired, you might have a puffy face. And so melatonin is still high. And then it takes you time to get really active. Do you have any questions about the cortisol melatonin dance? Please put it in the chat if you have any questions so far. Okay, then let's look. There's a question. Let's see. Super clear. Good. Amazing. And then now we go to Ayurveda. And what Ayurveda is really like, I worked with Chinese medicine for 10 years. And it was super difficult for my clients always who hadn't studied Chinese medicine to access it, because you need to have a lot of knowledge to understand it. Even for us practitioners, we study for years and years, and it takes like around 5 years to get, let's say, a good understanding of it, and then you still study to understand it in depth. And it's not accessible it was not accessible for my clients. And then I lived in India and I discovered Ayurveda. And in Ayurveda, it's super accessible. It's super easy to understand for people who haven't studied it. And because the problem is, when I work with my clients and they don't understand why they need to do something, and they just follow, let's say, an advice, think about yourself. If you understand why you need to do something in order to have a certain result, you will do it. Whereas if you don't understand why you should do something, maybe you will do it, maybe not, but yeah, so you need to get a good understanding. And in Ayurveda, the beauty is that you can learn about yourself a lot in a short time. Yeah, so I will now explain a little bit the 3 basic body-mind types in Ayurveda. And I have also a class on YouTube if you want to dive deeper into it, but it takes time. So I have an online course that goes for half a year, where women dive into depth and through their gut health, into the hormones, and they really discover their body-mind type in depth. So don't have the motivation to get your body-mind type by the end of the session. It's not possible. It takes months. It's a journey, and it's a beautiful journey, but it takes time. So we have the 3 Ayurvedic sleep types. So we see here Vata, we see here Pitta, and we see here Kapha. Vata, Pitta, and Kapha are the three main body-mind types in Ayurveda. And when we look at Vata, Vata is made from air and ether. And look at the physics of Vata type. Yeah, so they are quite slim, lean body, and ether and air is quite light. Okay, so this is just, you will understand later how this influences their sleep. Then we have Pitta, and Pitta is made from the elements of fire and a bit of water. So it's this fiery nature. So Vata people, they are very creative. They're very good in communication. They can easily connect with other people. They connect also other people with each other. And when they get imbalanced, they have chronic anxiety. They can have constant worries. And when we look at Pitta, made from the elements of fire and water, like these are very passionate people. So many people who have their own business, very often they have a lot of Pitta. Yeah, they want to get their stuff done. And they're passionate, they're fiery, and they're also not the most patient people. Yeah, they can be quite impatient. And whereas Vata wants to do stuff with other people together, Pitta persons, I do it, and then the stuff gets done. And I don't need to wait until someone has finally done it. So Pitta really wants, at the end of the day, they want to see results. And then we have Kapha, and Kapha is made from earth and water. So you can already see it's heavier. So they hardly ever have any sleeping disorders. Of course, they can get sleeping disorders, but they are not prone to have sleeping disorders. It's more the other way around. They oversleep. Yeah, so they sleep too many hours, and then it can make them more heavy and sluggish. So when we look at the Vata type, so as I said, it's associated with air and with a space element, and it very often results in difficulty falling asleep due to a very overactive, anxious mind. They are very often very light sleepers. There is a sound or someone just breathes too loudly, then they will wake up. And individuals or people may wake up frequently or experience restless sleep. Yeah, they will turn and toss around, and they feel tired, but they feel wired. And they very often wake up during 3 and 6 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, this is the Vata time also. And Vata rules the nervous system. And the nervous system has the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, and the sympathetic nervous system that is very active during the day. And when Vata doesn't have enough rest and they are too much in go-go mode during the day, their nervous system, their sympathetic nervous system is still active then during the night. And then they might wake up, or they might have problems to fall asleep. But problems to fall asleep can have two different reasons. I will explain them in a moment. Then we have Pitta. And Pitta, they're tied to fire and water elements, and often cause people to wake up in the middle of the night. Yeah, typically between 12 p.m. and 3 a.m. when the liver is most active. So Pitta rules the digestive system. And very often, and this is, for me, it was the case, I had very poor gut health. I had a lot of digestive problems. Once I healed my digestive problems, my sleep became good. Yeah? So we have the liver is during the night, especially between 12 p.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning, is very active. And it's then taking care of many detoxification processes. And these sleep problems, they can also be accompanied by frustration, but also by overheating. Yeah, there's too much fire in the system. And then they could also have problems to fall asleep. Yeah, very often Pitta sleep problems are linked to digestive and liver problems. So the difficulty of falling asleep can either be vata or it can be pitta. And the difference is when vata is out of balance, it often manifests as restless or overactive mind, paired with anxiety and the difficulty of calming down at the end of the day. And then they have a hard time to fall asleep. However, if the difficulty falling asleep is accompanied by frustration, by irritability, or by feeling overheated, it could indicate a pitta imbalance. So then they are in overdrive. And pittas have the problem to overwork. They are also most prone to develop a burnout. Because they are overstimulated, they overwork, they just do too much. And they have a hard time just to drop work and to say, okay, so now I'm just relaxing. They have a hard time. But in most of the cases, falling asleep is often a vata imbalance. And kapha imbalances, so is linked to earth and water elements. And this can, they can have a tendency to have to excessive sleeping and difficulty waking up. So it's really like you can hover next to them and they still sleep. They have difficulty sleeping up. And then their sleep may feel heavy or unrefreshing. And then they feel super sluggish during the day. So Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, we explore them here a little bit. In my online course, we really explore them in depth. Because this is like, you learn a lot about your dharma, you learn a lot about also how much sleep you need. So Vata, that rules the nervous system, needs most of the sleep. So they need often 8 to 9 hours so that their nervous system has a reset. Pitta people, they need around 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. And Kaphas, they need like around 7 hours of sleep. However, if you have a chronic disease or any other, let's say, severe imbalances, often we need more sleep so that we have this rejuvenating deep sleep. Do you have any questions about that?
Yes,
Any questions? Yes,
I have
go
a
ahead.
question. I don't know if this has to do with the types, but my biggest problems are my allergies, and I wake up to pee like 4 times, sometimes 5 times during the night, and and also because I can't breathe. This is also I'm pretty sure it's about how I eat or what I eat, digestive and stuff, but I don't know if it also has to do with a Ayurvedic sleep type.
Yeah, so when you, so first, like after 7 p.m., the activity of the kidneys goes down. So you should drink most of the fluids by 7 p.m. and after 7 p.m., just the most necessary. Just try this. So this is the first thing I try with my clients because sometimes they drink also a lot in the late evening and then it doesn't surprise me that they go to the toilet. If this is not the case for you, there is another reason, and this is the imbalance in insulin and in cortisol that wakes you up during night so that you need to go to the loo. And this has a lot to do with when you eat, what you eat. If you also snack between meals, can be also a reason, and also with cortisol. So cortisol and insulin, when we look at our endocrine system, you can imagine it like a triangle. And in the bottom, you have the foundation. And cortisol and insulin, these are the two hormones that create the foundation. For your endocrine system, for like it influences your sleep, everything.
Yeah.
But it has a lot to do also with insulin. If you wake up so often and you need to pee, it's not just cortisol, it's also insulin.
Yeah, I've been eating more sugar lately, I think.
Yeah. So
I started working in the kitchen again, and I'm cooking and doing desserts and stuff, and I have increased again my sugar intake and my carbohydrates and stuff. Yeah.
So what you can improve is that in the evening you don't, like, you reduce your carbohydrate intake, and that you really try, like, after the, like, it's good, or the best is to eat as little refined sugar as possible, right? But really after the afternoon, after 4 p.m., really try not to eat any refined sugar, so that your insulin is not spiking, or goes down and up during the night.
Yeah.
Mhm. Good. Any other questions? Yeah, sleep is in my online program one of the first things that we tackle: sleep and gut, because they're super important. Once these two systems are running, everything is better. And some other things just disappear. Any other questions?
No,
Emilia? Mhm.
yeah, just add a comment how true it is what you said, that it's so hard to understand your type. I discovered Ayurveda about a month and a half ago, and I was sure I was a Vata, but hearing you now speak, I'm sure now I'm a Pitta. Like it's I just find it so interesting. It's so
Yeah, it is
yeah,
super interesting.
but it's
Totally.
so hard.
No, it's be curious. What I can just give you for an advice: be super curious, be open and curious. And Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, we are all a mix of the three of them. Like, we all have all elements. Yeah, we have 5 elements, and we are made from 5 elements. However, we have 1 or 2 predominant types. Yeah. And that's a journey to discover. No, that's the reason why in my online course for months, when we look at sleep, at digestion, at exercise, depending on the body mind type you have, this will vary, like how much sleep you need, what to eat, how many meals you need per day, how long should be the fasting period. All of these things you need to discover in alignment with your body mind type. And for example, your body type can be different than your mental emotional type. For example, me, when you look at my physics, I mean, this is very Vata, dark eyes is very Vata, but the rest of my body, I'm more Pitta. Whereas emotionally, mentally, I have a lot of Vata elements. No, I can get very anxious. I can get worried. This is more like the emotions I have a tendency to go to, like when I'm in an imbalanced state. So physically, you can be a different type than emotionally, mentally. That's also very important. Yeah, and also your digestive type, you will have either a Vata digestion, a Pitta digestion, or a Kapha digestion. Yeah, so these are all things that can be discovered, and this is super interesting. It's really, but so yeah, just be curious. And on my YouTube channel, I have a video how to thrive for Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and there you can learn a little bit more about the 3 types. Yeah.
Sorry, I have one more question. And does it change over time? Because I noticed like something really changed in the last 6 months regarding sleep and
Yeah.
like what my body's been craving to eat. Is that normal?
So when we look at the Ayurvedic body mind types, you are born as one body mind type, and this stays throughout your life. Okay. So this is kind of the essence. So you came here with that body mind type on this earth. However, throughout life, you can develop Vata imbalance, Pitta imbalance, Kapha imbalance. You can have all the 3 of them at the same time. And this can change throughout life. Yes. However, like your essence doesn't change. Make sense? And I explained that in my YouTube video online.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Okay, then let's explore what you can do to change. So in this masterclass, we are exploring, let's say, general things that can improve your sleep. However, it always depending on the body mind type you have and where you have your imbalance that is provoking your sleeping disorders, you can go much more into depth. Yeah, but you will, like, I'm sure here and there you will get tips that you can apply for you. So establish a consistent sleep schedule. And this is super important, especially for Vata types. Vata doesn't like rhythm and to do every day the same things in the same order. They hate it. However, when they have a lot of routine and rhythm, they thrive. So they need a consistent sleep schedule. This means go to bed at the same time every night, wake up at the same time every day. So when you are out, when you don't sleep, you are out of rhythm. So you need to get back into rhythm. So you need to work on establishing a consistent sleep schedule that gives your body rhythm. Rhythm also means you feel secure. People who have chronic sleeping disorders, often they also have a problem to trust in the flow of life. I had huge problems with that. And this can sometimes go back to your childhood. Maybe you grew up in a very insecure environment. Maybe you had certain experiences that shaped you. But often chronic sleeping disorders also has to do with a lack to trust in the flow of life, to have a lack of trust that things will turn out well for you. Then you need to optimize your sleep environment. So in the evening, before you go to bed, you want to feel warm. You can take a hot bath, you can take a hot shower, you can take a hot water bottle and put it on your feet, because the warmth will relax you. However, when you sleep in your bed during the night, you want to have a cool room around 18 degrees. Yeah, you don't want to heat up your room and want to have 25 degrees in your room. Mm-hmm.
Hi, I have a question. So what you mentioned with the cool temperature. So what I realized is that I am sleeping very bad when it's cold, and I literally wake up when it's cold. Like 18, 20 degrees is a little bit too cold for me. So I really have to wear warm clothes and also socks, because yeah. And also I realized now, I mean, in the Netherlands, I have my heater, I can turn it on. Here in Spain, I cannot do this. So so it's a huge like change for me. Is this, I mean, from what you are saying, this is not normal, I would say, but can you maybe elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, so try not to judge it. The thing is, did you recognize yourself a lot in Vata?
No, I would say I'm more Pitta.
Okay, because usually when there is a lot of Pitta in the constitution, there is a lot of fire and they feel easily warm. The people who really freeze very easily, they often have a Vata imbalance.
Okay.
And then it's really important to take a bath in the evening, to take a hot shower in the evening, to go to bed with a hot water bottle. You place it on your feet so that the whole body is warm. Like you can have warm blankets, you can wear pullovers, all of that. But kind of the air, like the temperature of the air, like the temperature in the room shouldn't be hot.
Okay.
Yeah, so take more blankets, wear more stuff. But you don't want to sleep usually in a warm room.
Okay, clear.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Then reduce stimulants and avoid late evening eating. That's super important. And in Spain, we know so many people who eat so late, but it also takes them a long time in the morning to wake up and to get the stuff done. So in the evening, especially alcohol, any sugary drinks, any sweets, yeah, any coffee, any green tea. Like if you have chronic sleeping disorders, don't consume any green tea, coffee, any matcha tea after 2 p.m. And avoid late evening eating, because what happens is you go to bed, your digestion is still busy digesting the last meal of the day, and you will have problems to sleep. Then to implement a calming evening routine. So what I do is I bring my mobile phone to bed in the evening. So as we already learned, exposure to blue light in the evening is really not good. And so what I do is I put my mobile phone on flight mode. It's not in my sleeping room, and I put it to bed. You can even buy a box and can place it there, close it. And then you can go to a Chinese store, and for a couple of euros, you can get an alarm clock, an old-fashioned one, and you have it in your sleeping room. Yeah. So we learned around 8-9 p.m. melatonin releases, yeah, or your body starts to release melatonin if the right conditions are set. So you don't want to expose yourself to screens after 8-9 p.m. Yeah. That is a game changer. It's really a game changer. I speak from experience. And then we learned about the cortisol melatonin rhythm dance, that morning sunlight exposure decreases your melatonin and pushes your cortisol. So if you suffer from chronic sleeping disorders, you wake up in the morning, you don't take your mobile phone. You can go on your balcony, on your terrace, you can go in front of the house, or you simply open your windows and you look into the sky. So you expose yourself to sunlight in the morning before looking at a screen. That's super important. Makes a huge, huge difference because it helps to regulate your circadian rhythm. If you also have problems with severe mood disorders or with depression, this is even like they do it in many, or I don't know in all, but in many clinics where they treat people with severe depression or also who are at risk for suicide. They need to expose themselves in the morning to sunlight. And if you have the chance in the evening, so if my daughter is not with me, then we watch the sunset usually, now around 5:30. And if she's not with me, so tonight she's not with me, then I go out and take a long walk along the beach and look into the sky. And I really get a really good sleep afterwards. So sunlight exposure, and in the evening also, if you have the chance to see the sunset or just to go for a walk outside, this is amazing to regulate your circadian rhythm. Then alcohol, I already mentioned it, also hydrate properly during the day. And if you suffer from stress and from anxiety, of course, you need to address that. Yeah, so my online course, what we are doing there, you learn how to have a modern Ayurvedic lifestyle, yeah, that makes it possible to have a busy, exciting modern life, however, with all the self-care practices from Ayurveda, because Ayurveda is really like, I always say it's a parasympathetic, like it's the right balance between parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system lifestyle. So you learn a lot about how to balance that, how to thrive through the day and be active, and then to slow down and unwind in the evening, to get a proper sleep. Okay, Chris, was nice seeing you. Bye-bye. Yes, and of course, stress is I would say, is with the biggest issue and reason for sleeping disorders. That in today's world, most of the people don't have the right balance between rest and activity. And then you get into a vicious circle. No, you have low energy, then you cannot exercise, you cannot decrease your stress hormones, and you cannot let go of the day's experiences. And then you get into this vicious circle of how to get, and then you don't know how to get out of it. No? So what I do in the beginning with my clients is they also get supplements so that they really get a boost, like that it helps them to get back into a rhythm. But of course, supplements is not the solution. It's not the solution for poor diet or for the wrong diet or for poor lifestyle habits. It's not a solution. However, it can support you to get into balance much quicker. And then you have the energy to do sports, you have a proper night's sleep, then you wake up in the morning, you go, like, then everything falls back into rhythm. And then you can do the good work and you can establish the right diet and lifestyle habits in order to make it work in the long run. Any questions about that? Okay, then let's give you some nice things. And here you can do a screenshot or you can take a photo of the golden milk. However, it's not the ordinary golden milk from Ayurveda. It's the one where you also add ashwagandha powder. Who knows ashwagandha? Ashwagandha? No? Just a moment. Just have to check, is my battery low? Oh, just a moment. Yeah, now it's working. Amazing. Just a moment. It popped already up. Okay, so ashwagandha is an Ayurvedic plant, and it's one of the best to use for sleeping problems. And ashwagandha, it's one of the you also call it an adaptogen. What does this mean? So adaptogens, I think I pronounced it not properly, sorry for that. They help you to adapt to become more stress resilient, okay? And it has an amazing function on the nervous system. So Vata and Pitta both will benefit from it, but even more Vata. And this is one of the recipes that you can do, like what I'm doing in the evening. In summertime, I'm not doing it because I don't want to drink anything warm in the evening. But during autumn, winter, and early spring, I'm having this every single evening. So I prepare my golden milk. I drink it around 7:30, 8-ish. And it really helps me to unwind, fall easily asleep. It's very soothing. It's very calming. Yeah, so take a screenshot or a photo. Any questions about that? Okay, then I have a couple of supplements. So there is this is a special magnesium that you can take also in the evening. Then licorice, passion flower, and licorice and passion flower really depends. Yeah, it really depends on the root cause of your sleeping disorders. And in my online course, people also do a neurotransmitter test. Yeah, so for example, to see if you're low in GABA, yeah, or in another neurotransmitter. And then depending on that, there are certain supplements that you can take. Yeah, so we do a test of 4 different neurotransmitters. And then I tell exactly what for a supplement needs to be taken for the sleep. Yeah, but this is, let's say, some general advice for supplements. Any questions about that? Okay, let's see in the chat. Yes.
Yes, sorry. Are these tests expensive? Are they covered with insurance? Are they or not?
No, they're not. You mean the supplements?
No, the test, the neurotransmitters.
No, I developed a test where you go basically through a questionnaire that asks you many questions about and that help to define which neurotransmitter is reduced
Okay.
or out of balance. No, it's not a test that you
Not
take.
a doctor.
Yeah, you
Oh,
don't go
okay.
to a, no, you don't go to a doctor, but it works super well. It works super well. For 4 different neurotransmitters, you answer all the questions and we see very quickly which one is, sometimes 1, sometimes 2, depends.
It's included in your course.
Yes, I'm doing this in my course, yes. Yeah, this is really
Okay.
advanced. No, like today, like we have, like you get a general overview, and some of these, like some people they start taking licorice and they sleep like babies. No, but sometimes, especially when it's very chronic, sometimes people who don't sleep for 20, 30 years or even more, then is something like, it makes often sense to look at the neurotransmitters.
Dr.
Okay,
Rina,
yes.
Where do we get more information about your course?
I will send it to you by email. So everyone who registered to the masterclass will receive a follow-up email from me. And so if you haven't received my emails yet, because you got a reminder today already for the workshop, then have a look in your spam folder. It should be there. Yeah. So what I want to share with you is a freebie. So we said already often that your digestion, and the digestion, of course, influences a lot your insulin. You can take this freebie. So for 7 days, you get every day a little tip into your inbox. And these are the foundations for a healthy metabolism. And these are simple tips, and you might think, and this shall help, is really simple tips with a huge effect. So it's every day an investment of 5 minutes. You read through the email, you watch the video, and then you can start implementing the tip. Yeah. So it's a little freebie that I'm sharing with you. You can sign up. And what is very important in Ayurveda, before we change what we eat, we change when we eat. So in this little foundational course, you will learn about fasting periods and during the day and nightly fasting periods, the basics. Okay, the basics that if you start with Ayurveda, you can start implementing them. And then, of course, depending on the body-mind type, you can go much deeper. But let's say these are the basics that can be helpful for everyone who experiences problems with cortisol, with insulin, with cravings. Yes, I will send everything by email. Do you have any questions left? So what I suggest now is, so we still have a little yoga nidra that I wanted to do with you. So it depends on you. Either I switch off the recording now and you ask all your questions and we do the yoga nidra at the very end, or we do it now and I answer your questions after it. What do you prefer? Yoga nidra first, hands up, or Q&A? You can just raise your hand. You have the somewhere. So yoga nidra is very deep relaxation. Sorry for not explaining it. It's morning here. Hannah says, yes, you are in the US, you are in Seattle. Yes. Okay, then I suggest I switch off the recording now. You ask your questions. And then whoever wants to have a deep relaxation at the very end, you just stay. Yeah. And then we do it at the very end. And Hannah, we don't want to make her sleepy again. She can then leave. Okay, so I just switch off the recording now. Thank you so much, everyone. Please reach out if you have any questions. And it was nice having you today.